If you've come to take him, prove you're safer than me. Have you ever loved someone who wasn't yours to keep? Lila Carter stands in the doorway of her rented room, 23 years old and exhausted, blocking a man in a $2,000 suit. Behind her, a 4-year-old boy sleeps in a wooden crib held together with duct tape and hope. The man's name is Marcus Young. He runs half the underground operations in the city. People whisper his name with fear. But right now, he's staring at a torn medical card in his hand, and his face has gone pale. Theo Young, his son. The child he never knew existed. Thunder rolls across the sky, rain hammers the windows, and between them stands the only question that matters. Who does this boy belong to? The man whose blood he carries? Or the woman who's kept him alive? 48 hours earlier, Lila was washing dishes in the back of Lee's diner, her hands raw from bleach water, her mind on rent she couldn't pay. She had no idea her entire world was about to change. The kitchen at Lee's diner closes at 11. Lila is always the last one out. She scrubs the industrial sink until her shoulders ache, her hands raw from hours in bleach water. The manager, Mr. Lee, left an hour ago with barely a goodbye. The other dishwasher called in sick again, which means double the work for the same pay. Lila doesn't complain. Complaining gets you fired. She stacks plates with practiced efficiency, muscle memory guiding her movements. Rinse, stack, wipe, repeat. The fluorescent lights hum overhead, flickering occasionally. She's learned to tune it out, along with the ache in her lower back and the way her feet throb in shoes held together with superglue. This is her third job this week. Monday through Wednesday, she's here. Thursday and Friday, she cleans rooms at the Capitol Motel, the same place she found Theo. Saturday mornings, she stocks shelves at a convenience store that pays under the table. Sunday, she rests. Or tries to. Her phone buzzes against her hip. She dries her hands and checks it, already knowing what she'll see. Rent due Friday. No excuses this time. Mrs. S. Lila's stomach clenches. She closes her eyes and does the math she's done 100 times, the numbers playing behind her eyelids like a cruel mantra. 2 more shifts at the diner, $140. 1 overnight cleaning shift at the motel, $75. The convenience store will pay out next week, but she needs the money now. Rent is $350. She has $212 in her account. That leaves $138 short. If she skips groceries this week, that's $40 saved. If Theo's shoes hold together another month. If the winter coat she found at Goodwill keeps him warm enough. If nothing breaks. If no one gets sick. If the universe gives her just one break. She might make it. Might. The word tastes like failure. She pulls off her apron, hangs it on the hook by the door, and grabs her bag. A canvas tote with a broken strap she's tied back together twice. Inside, her wallet, a protein bar she'll eat for breakfast tomorrow, and a small stuffed animal she bought at the thrift store for Theo's birthday next month. $3. She hid it under old receipts so she wouldn't be tempted to return it when money got tight. The night air hits her face, cold and sharp. November in the city means frost on windshields and breath that clouds white. Lila pulls her jacket tighter, too thin for the season, but it's what she has, and starts walking. The boarding house is 6 blocks away. She walks fast, keys ready between her fingers, a habit from harder times. From nights when she slept in shelters, from the years she spent couch surfing after leaving her mother's house, where her stepfather's fists spoke louder than any words. She doesn't think about that anymore. Can't afford to. The neighborhood isn't dangerous exactly, just watchful. The kind of place where people mind their business because asking questions brings trouble. Streetlights flicker. A dog barks behind a chain-link fence. Someone's TV plays too loud through an open window. Lila keeps her head down and walks. She passes the corner store where the owner always watches her a little too closely, as if expecting her to steal. She passes the laundromat where a woman once told her, "Your kind shouldn't be raising white babies." Lila had stared at her. Theo balanced on her hip and said nothing. What could she say? That Theo isn't white? That he's Korean and black and hers? That blood doesn't determine family? The woman wouldn't have listened anyway. Room 3C, third floor, end of the hall. Lila climbs the stairs slowly, her legs heavy with exhaustion. The hallway smells like someone's cooking, garlic and something fried. And underneath that, mildew. Mrs. Stevenson has promised to fix the water damage in the ceiling for 6 months. Lila knows better than to hold her breath. She unlocks the door as quietly as possible. Inside, Theo sleeps on his side, one hand clutching a stuffed rabbit with a missing ear. Lila bought it at a thrift store 3 months ago for 50 cents. He hasn't let it go since, even though the seams are splitting and the stuffing pokes out. She stands in the doorway, just watching him breathe. In, out, safe. His face is peaceful in sleep, his dark hair falling across his forehead. He's growing so fast. The pajamas she bought in August are already too short in the legs. His shoes, hand-me-downs from a church donation bin, are wearing through at the toes. She'll figure it out. She always does. Lila sets her bag down carefully and crosses to the hot plate on the dresser. There's half a can of soup left from yesterday. She eats it cold, standing up, too tired to heat it. This is her world. Small, barely held together with duct tape, determination, and the kind of love that doesn't need permission. She sits on the edge of her mattress, no frame, just a box spring on the floor, and finally lets herself feel the weight of the day. Her back aches. Her hands are cracked and bleeding around the cuticles from harsh soap. Her stomach still growls despite the soup, but Theo is safe. Fed. Warm. And that's enough. It has to be. She found Theo 2 years ago, abandoned in a motel stairwell, wrapped in a blue blanket with only a medical card tucked inside. Theo Young. No birth certificate, no parent's name, no emergency contact. Just a last name that made Lila's blood run cold. Young. Everyone in this city knows that name, knows what it means. Power, money, connections that run deep into the underground economy. The kind of family you don't cross. The kind of name that makes police reports disappear and witnesses forget what they saw. Lila had stood in that stairwell, a crying baby in her arms, and faced a choice. Call the authorities and watch him disappear into a system that might not protect him, or take him home and become the protection he needed. She chose him. And for 2 years, she's lived with the fear that someday, someone would come looking, that the Young family would discover their missing heir, that men in expensive suits would knock on her door and take away the only family she's ever truly had. No one came. So Lila did what she's always done when the world offers cruelty. She chose kindness instead. She took him home. Fed him with formula she bought in installments, asking the pharmacist to ring up 1 can at a time so her card wouldn't decline. Sang to him when he cried, even though she can't carry a tune. Taught him to walk, to laugh, to trust that someone would catch him when he fell. The city thinks she's foolish, a poor black woman raising a child who isn't hers, struggling to survive while the world tells her she's not enough. She's heard it in the grocery store, where cashiers count her WIC vouchers with obvious disdain. She's heard it at the clinic, where nurses ask pointed questions about Theo's father. She's heard it from Mrs. Stevenson, who never misses a chance to remind Lila that charity has limits. But when Theo smiles at her in the morning, his small hand reaching for her face, none of that matters. She's enough for him, and he's enough for her. Outside, a car engine idles in the parking lot. Headlights cut through the thin curtains, painting stripes of light across the ceiling. Lila doesn't notice. She's already asleep, fully clothed on top of the covers, too tired to dream. But someone is watching, and tomorrow, everything changes. Saturday morning brings rain and the weight of judgment. Lila wakes to the sound of it drumming against the window, each drop like a tiny accusation. Her body aches from sleeping in her clothes, from too many hours on her feet, from carrying weight she's too proud to set down. Theo stirs in his crib, rubbing his eyes with small fists. She lifts him out, feeling the familiar weight of him against her hip. He's heavier than he was 6 months ago, growing, thriving, despite everything. "Morning, baby." He doesn't answer. He rarely speaks, preferring quiet observation to words. But he presses his forehead to her shoulder. It's his way of saying hello. His way of saying, "I trust you. I'm safe with you. You're my world." Her chest tightens with love and fear in equal measure. She makes breakfast with what's left in the cupboard. Oatmeal from a bulk bin at the discount store. A banana, slightly brown but still good, split between them. Water instead of milk because the carton ran out yesterday and she won't have money to replace it until Monday. Theo eats slowly, swinging his legs under the table, making soft humming sounds. Content. Lila watches him and thinks about the bill collector who called yesterday. The notice from the power company threatening disconnection. The way her manager at the diner mentioned there might be restructuring soon, code for layoffs. She's standing on the edge of a cliff, and the ground keeps crumbling beneath her feet. But not today. Today, she'll take Theo to the park. They'll feed the ducks with old bread she saved. He'll play in the sandbox while she sits on the bench and pretends everything is fine. Today, they're okay. A sharp knock shatters the illusion. Lila's stomach drops. She knows that knock. 3 hard raps, impatient and entitled. Mrs. Stevenson doesn't wait for an invitation. She pushes the door open, her expression pinched with the kind of disapproval that comes from a lifetime of judging others. She's 58, white, and convinced the world would run better if people like Lila knew their place. Her gaze sweeps the room with practiced disdain. The mattress on the floor, the hot plate, the laundry hanging on a rope strung between 2 nails. "Rent was due yesterday." Lila stands, putting herself between the landlady and Theo. "I know. I get paid Monday. I'll have it then." "That's what you said last month." Mrs. Stevenson's voice is sharp as glass. "And the month before that. I've been more than patient, Lila, but my patience has limits." 2 days. I just need 2 days. Everyone needs something. The older woman crosses her arms. But need doesn't pay bills. You're 3 weeks behind. That's unacceptable. I'll have it Monday. I promise. Promises don't mean much from someone in your position. Mrs. Stevenson's gaze slides to Theo, who's gone very still, sensing danger the way children do. "You can't afford this place. You certainly can't afford a child." The words are a slap. Lila's jaw tightens. "We're managing." "Are you?" The skepticism drips like poison. "That boy needs more than you can give him. Proper meals, new clothes, stability, a real home." "This is his home." "This is a room." Mrs. Stevenson gestures dismissively. "Barely that. And you're barely keeping it together. A woman in your situation, raising someone else's child." She doesn't finish the sentence. She doesn't have to. "A woman like you, poor, black, struggling." The unspoken words hang between them, heavy and familiar. Lila has heard this speech before. From caseworkers, from clinic nurses, From strangers in grocery stores who see Theo's lighter skin and her darker complexion and make assumptions. That's not your child. You can't possibly afford him. Why are you trying to be something you're not? But what they don't see, what they refuse to see, is the love, the sacrifices, the nights she's gone hungry so he could eat, the times she's walked 3 miles in the rain because she spent her bus fare on his medicine, the way she's built a life out of nothing because he deserved someone who wouldn't give up. Monday, Lila repeats, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. I'll have the rent Monday. Mrs. Stevenson sniffs, unconvinced. Monday, Lila. Not Tuesday. Not next week. Monday morning. Or I'm filing eviction papers. She pauses at the door, delivering her final blow. And I'll be calling social services. That child deserves better than this. The threat lands like a physical blow. The door closes. The landlady's footsteps echo down the hall. And Lila stands frozen, her heart hammering against her ribs. Social services. The words taste like fear, like every nightmare she's had for 2 years. Children taken from parents who loved them but couldn't prove they were enough. Enough money, enough stability, enough worthiness. And she's none of those things. Not on paper. On paper, she's a high school graduate with no college degree, working minimum wage jobs, living paycheck to paycheck. On paper, she has no legal claim to the child she's raised. No adoption papers. No foster parent certification. Just a medical card with a name that isn't hers, and 2 years of love that won't show up in any official record. Theo tugs at her sleeve, his dark eyes wide with worry. He doesn't understand the words, but he understands the fear. She picks him up, holding him so tight he squeaks in protest. It's okay, baby. I've got you. Nobody's taking you anywhere. But for the first time in 2 years, she's not sure that's a promise she can keep. Across the street, Marcus Young watches from his black sedan. His bodyguard, Stephen Hunt, sits in the driver's seat, silent. He's learned that when the boss goes quiet, it's best to wait. Marcus has been watching the boarding house for 3 days, ever since an anonymous tip led him here. A child. His last name. A woman raising him alone. He ran every background check available. Lila Carter, 23, no criminal record, works 2 jobs, behind on rent, and somehow, impossibly, caring for a boy who carries Marcus's blood. Boss, Stephen says carefully. What do you want to do? Marcus doesn't answer immediately. He's watching the window of room 3C where he can see Lila moving around inside. She's thin, worn down, but the way she holds the child, protective, gentle, it reminds him of someone. Elena, the woman he loved and lost. The woman who disappeared 2 years ago without explanation, leaving only silence and questions. Find out everything, Marcus says finally. Where she works, who she talks to, how she got my son. Stephen nods. And then? Then we find out if she's telling the truth. Because in Marcus's world, kindness is usually a mask. People want something. They always want something. He'll find out what Lila Carter wants, and then he'll decide what happens next. Marcus comes to the door that evening. Lila answers, Theo balanced on her hip. She recognizes him immediately, not his face, but the type. Expensive clothes, cold eyes. The kind of man who takes what he wants. Can I help you? My name is Marcus Young. His voice is controlled, polished. I believe you're caring for my son. The air goes thin. Lila's grip on Theo tightens. I don't know what you're talking about. Marcus pulls a folder from inside his jacket. Documents, hospital records, a photograph of a woman Lila's never seen. Her name was Elena Park. She worked as a nurse. 2 years ago, she gave birth to a boy. My boy. Lila's mind races. If he's yours, where have you been? I didn't know he existed. There's something raw in his voice. Elena left without telling me. I only found out about the baby after she died. The words hit like stones. Died. Theo squirms in Lila's arms, uncomfortable with the tension. She sets him down gently, and he toddles to the corner where his few toys are scattered. When? Lila's voice is barely steady. 6 months after giving birth. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Someone targeted a business associate of mine. She was nearby. Marcus's jaw tightens. Collateral damage. Lila feels sick. This boy, her boy, lost his mother to violence connected to the man standing in front of her. If that's true, why was he abandoned in a motel? Someone was protecting him. From me. From my world. Marcus looks past her, at Theo playing quietly. They thought he'd be safer without my name attached to him. They were right. The words are sharp. Marcus's eyes snap back to hers. You don't know anything about my world. I know enough. Lila crosses her arms. I know children don't belong anywhere near organized crime. I know the mafia destroys families, and I know that boy has been safe for 2 years because no one knew who his father was. Marcus steps forward, not threatening, but present. And now I'm here. So what do we do about that? Lila holds her ground. You leave. You let him grow up without your shadow hanging over him. He's my son. He's my son. The words burst out before she can stop them. I'm the one who found him crying in that stairwell. I'm the one who stayed up all night when he had croup. I'm the one who taught him to trust that the world won't hurt him, not you, me. Marcus is silent for a long moment. How did you know? He asks finally. That the name on the medical card was significant? I didn't, not at first. Lila glances at Theo. But I'm not stupid. I worked at the Capitol Motel. I saw things, heard things. I knew the young family had connections. So when I saw the name, I made a choice. What choice? To keep him hidden. To protect him from whatever your life involved. She meets his gaze directly. I knew if people found out a young heir existed, he'd become a target. So I stayed quiet, stayed small, and kept him safe. Marcus absorbs this. She's right. In his world, children are leverage. Theo would have been used, threatened, bartered like currency. This woman saved his son's life without even knowing him. What do you want? Marcus asks. Money? A house? Name it. Lila's eyes flash. I want you to leave us alone. I can't do that. Why not? Because he's mine. Marcus's voice roughens. Because I've already lost too much. Because I won't lose him too. Lila studies him. Beneath the cold exterior, she sees something familiar. Grief. Desperation. The same fear she carries every day. What if I'm not enough? Then prove it. She says quietly. Prove you can be the father he needs, not the danger he doesn't. Marcus nods slowly. How? Show up, not with money or guards or power. Show up like a person. Learn who he is. Let him decide if he wants you in his life. He's 4. He's smarter than you think. They stand in the doorway, neither moving. Two people who love the same child in completely different ways. Finally, Marcus steps back. I'll come back tomorrow. Why? Because you're right. I need to prove myself. He looks at her steadily. And because I'm beginning to think you're the only honest person I've met in years. He leaves, and Lila closes the door, her hands shaking. Theo looks up from his toys. Man scary? No, baby. She kneels beside him, smoothing his hair. He's just lost. Like you were when I found you. Theo considers this, then returns to his toys. Satisfied. But Lila sits on the floor, her mind spinning. Everything just changed, and she has no idea if it's for better or worse. Marcus returns the next day, and the day after, and the day after that. Each visit is careful, measured. He doesn't push, doesn't demand, doesn't use his power or his money to force his way in. He just shows up. He sits in the uncomfortable plastic chair Lila found on the curb. He watches Theo play with blocks on the worn carpet. He asks questions in a low voice, like he's afraid of breaking something fragile. What does he like to eat? Apples? Crackers? Anything with cheese? He's not picky, but he doesn't like things that are too spicy. Does he sleep through the night? Mostly, unless there's thunder or sirens. Loud noises make him anxious. What scares him? Lila pauses, studying Marcus's face. She sees genuine interest there. Not the clinical curiosity of a social worker, but the desperate need of a parent trying to catch up on 2 years of missed life. Loud voices, she says finally. Sudden movements. Being left alone in the dark. She swallows. He was alone for hours before I found him. Maybe longer. I think he remembers being afraid, even if he can't put words to it. Marcus's jaw tightens. She can see him processing this, storing it away, learning his son through the lens of trauma. I did that to him, he says quietly. My world, my choices. I made him afraid. You didn't know he existed. That doesn't change what happened. Lila can't argue with that, so she doesn't try. The days develop a rhythm. Marcus arrives around 5 after Lila gets home from her first shift. He brings groceries, never making a show of it, just setting bags on the counter with a quiet, I was at the store anyway. Rice, bread, fresh fruit, milk. Things Lila needs, but can't always afford. She wants to refuse, wants to maintain her independence, her pride. But Theo needs to eat, and pride doesn't fill an empty stomach, so she accepts and says thank you, and tries not to think about how easily Marcus could make everything better or worse with a single phone call. He fixes the broken latch on Theo's crib without being asked, shows up with a screwdriver and quietly repairs it while Lila makes dinner. He doesn't make a production of it, doesn't wait for thanks, just does it and moves on. He sits on the floor and rolls a ball back and forth with Theo, patient when the boy is too shy to engage, encouraging when Theo finally, tentatively, rolls it back, celebrating small victories like they're monumental achievements. He's trying. And despite every instinct that tells Lila not to trust him, not to let her guard down, not to believe that people like him change, she begins to soften. Not all at once, not dramatically, but in small moments. When Marcus listens without interrupting, when he respects her boundaries, when he looks at Theo with something that looks like wonder, she starts to think maybe he's not the enemy she expected. 2 weeks into this strange new routine, everything changes again. Lila wakes to Theo crying. Not his usual wake-up fussing, but a desperate, painful sound that sends ice through her veins. She's at his crib in seconds, lifting him. His skin burns against her hands. Fever, high fever. Her stomach clenches with the familiar terror of a mother who can't afford for anything to go wrong. No health insurance, no emergency fund, just her knowledge and her hands and prayer that it's nothing serious. She strips him down to his diaper, his small body limp and hot. His eyes are glassy, unfocused. His breaths come too fast, too shallow. Okay, baby. Okay. Mama's got you. She fills the basin with lukewarm water, not cold. Cold can shock the system, and begins sponging his arms and legs. He whimpers, twisting away from the cloth, seeking comfort she can't give him right now. I know it's uncomfortable, but we have to bring your fever down. She's been at it for 20 minutes, her own hands shaking, when someone knocks on the door. Marcus. She'd forgotten he'd mentioned he might stop by tonight. She debates not answering, but something, desperation, maybe, or the bone-deep exhaustion of carrying everything alone, makes her unlock it. Marcus takes one look at Theo in her arms and goes rigid. What's wrong? Fever. I'm handling it. But her voice cracks on the last word, betraying her. How high? I don't know. I don't have a thermometer. The admission costs her, this proof of everything she can't provide. Marcus pulls out his phone. I'm calling my doctor. No. Lila's voice is sharp. I can't afford. I'll pay for it. I don't want your. This isn't about pride. His voice rises, then immediately softens. Please. Let me help. Just this once. Lila looks at Theo, burning in her arms. Looks at Marcus, standing in her doorway with his phone in his hand and genuine fear in his eyes. She nods. Marcus makes the call, speaks in low, urgent tones, ends it. Dr. Adams is on his way, 20 minutes. Okay. What can I do? You can. She stops. Because what can he do? This is her territory, her expertise, born from necessity and nights spent researching on library computers and advice from clinic nurses who took pity on her. But she's tired, so tired. Hold this. She hands him the cup of water. If he wakes enough, get him to sip. Small sips. We need to keep him hydrated. Marcus takes the cup like she's handed him something sacred. For the next hour, they work in tense silence. Lila cools Theo's skin with methodical precision. Marcus sits beside her, offering water when the boy stirs. His face a mask of controlled terror. The fever climbs to 102, then holds there. Then, agonizingly slowly, begins to drop. Dr. Adams arrives just after midnight. He's in his 60s, calm and kind, and he doesn't ask questions about why he's making a house call to a boarding house at this hour. He examines Theo with gentle efficiency, checks his temperature, 101.5, coming down, listens to his breathing, looks in his ears and throat. Viral infection, he says finally. Nothing serious, but uncomfortable. You're doing exactly the right thing. Keep him hydrated. Monitor the fever. If it goes above 103 or lasts more than 3 days, call me. He leaves medication. Children's fever reducer. Packets of electrolyte solution. His personal phone number written on the back of his card. No charge, he says when Lila tries to ask. Marcus, we're square. After he leaves, Lila sinks onto the mattress, exhausted and relieved in equal measure. Marcus hasn't moved from Theo's bedside. The boy is sleeping now, his breathing easier, his skin cooler. Thank you, Lila whispers, for calling him. I should have done more. Should have. You did enough. Silence settles between them, comfortable and strange. At 2 a.m., Theo's eyes flutter open. He looks at Lila first, finding his anchor. Then his gaze drifts to Marcus, studying this man who's been appearing in his life with increasing frequency. His small hand reaches out, grabbing Marcus's shirt. Marcus freezes, barely breathing. Dada? Theo's voice is hoarse from crying, confused from fever. Lila's breath catches. Theo has never called anyone that. Not her. Not anyone. Marcus's expression cracks. Years of controlled composure fracture, revealing something raw underneath. His eyes glisten. Yeah, buddy. He manages, his voice rough. I'm here. Theo's eyes drift closed again, satisfied, but his hand stays fisted in Marcus's shirt, holding on with the trust only children possess. And Marcus doesn't move. He sits there, this man who's probably ordered violence, who's built an empire on fear and control, completely undone by a 4-year-old's grip. Lila watches this unfold, her chest tight with something she can't name. Not trust. Not yet. But maybe the beginning of it. By 3 a.m., Theo's fever breaks completely. He rolls onto his side, releasing Marcus's shirt, and falls into deep, peaceful sleep. Marcus stands carefully, stretching muscles stiff from hours of stillness. Lila walks him to the door. In the hallway, dim and quiet, he pauses. That's the first time he's called me that, he says. I know. Does it bother you? Lila considers the question honestly. Ask me again when I'm not this tired. A ghost of a smile touches his mouth. Fair enough. He turns to leave, then stops. Lila? Yeah? You're really good at this, at being his mother. The words come slowly, like he's choosing each one carefully. I've watched you for 2 weeks now. The way you care for him, protect him, put him first in every decision. He swallows. I don't know that I can ever be that for him. You can't be his mother, Lila says quietly. But you could be his father, if you're willing to learn. How? The same way I learned to be his mother, by showing up, by doing the hard work, by loving him more than you love your own comfort. Marcus nods slowly, absorbing this. I'm trying. I see that. He leaves, and Lila closes the door, her mind spinning. Something shifted tonight. She felt it. The moment Theo reached for Marcus. The way Marcus responded with tenderness instead of possession. Maybe, just maybe, they can find a way to do this together. She lies down next to Theo's crib, too exhausted to make it to her own mattress. Within seconds, she's asleep. And outside, in the parking lot, Marcus sits in his car for a long time. Stephen is patient, waiting. Boss? Marcus doesn't answer. He's staring at the window of room 3C, at the life inside he never knew he was missing. He thinks about Elena, about the woman he loved and lost, about how she died trying to protect their son from his world. He thinks about Lila, about this woman who did what Elena couldn't, kept Theo safe, loved, whole. And he thinks about the choice he's been avoiding. His empire or his son, power or family, the life he knows or the life he wants. Find out what it takes to step back. He says finally. Stephen turns. Sir? From operations, from the business, all of it. Find out what it takes to walk away. Boss, you can't just... Yeah. I can, and I will. Marcus's voice is steel wrapped in exhaustion. Because that boy in there deserves a father who won't get him killed. And I'm done pretending I can be both. Stephen is silent for a moment. Then, understood. I'll make arrangements. Good. They drive away into the pre-dawn darkness, and Marcus stares out the window, thinking about second chances and whether he deserves one. Inside room 3C, Lila and Theo sleep, unaware that everything is about to change again. This time, for the better. If you've ever watched someone become more than they thought they could be, you know how powerful transformation is. Stay with us, and if this story is speaking to you, let us know you're here. The photograph appears online first. Marcus Young, alleged crime family leader, photographed with unknown child. Sources claim custody dispute. Police investigating. The headline spreads like wildfire. Lila sees it on her phone during her break at the diner. Her blood turns to ice. She runs. By the time she reaches the boarding house, 3 police cars are parked outside. Neighbors stand in doorways, watching. Mrs. Stevenson is on the steps, arms crossed, looking vindicated. Lila takes the stairs 2 at a time. The door to her room is open. Inside, 2 officers, 1 man, 1 woman, are documenting the space, and Theo is crying in a social worker's arms, reaching for Lila. Theo! She rushes forward. The male officer steps between them. Ma'am, you need to step back. That's my son! We have questions regarding the child's safety and legal guardianship. I've been his guardian for 2 years. I have documents. We've seen the documents, but given recent developments and allegations about Mr. Young's connections, we need to ensure the child's welfare. Lila's vision blurs with rage and terror. You think taking him from the only home he's known ensures his welfare? The female officer softens. Ms. Carter, we understand this is difficult, but the child has been photographed with a known criminal figure. We have to investigate. Marcus isn't... Lila stops. Because what can she say? That the mafia boss is actually trying to be a good father? That sounds insane. The social worker, a tired-looking woman named Mrs. Brennan, speaks up. We're taking Theodore to a temporary placement facility while we sort this out. You'll be interviewed tomorrow. If everything checks out. If. Lila's voice breaks. You're saying if, like there's a question. I've fed him, clothed him, loved him for 2 years. What more do I need to prove? That you can provide a stable, safe environment free from criminal influence. The words are a knife. Mrs. Stevenson's voice floats from the hallway. I told her she couldn't handle a child. A woman in her situation? Lila spins, fury in her eyes. You did this. You called them. The landlady shrugs. I called who I needed to call. That boy deserves better than this. Better than love? Better than safety? Better than someone who chose him when the whole world walked past? The officers exchange glances. The female one touches Lila's arm gently. Miss Carter, I know you care, but right now, we need you to step aside. Theo is sobbing, fighting against the social worker's hold. Mama! Mama! The word shatters something in Lila. Please, she whispers. Please don't take him. He doesn't understand. He'll think I abandoned him. It's temporary, Mrs. Brennan says, though her expression is sympathetic. Just until we verify the situation. They walk toward the door. Theo screams, his small hands reaching over the social worker's shoulder. And Lila can't move, can't breathe, can't do anything but watch them take her child. The door closes. The room is silent, empty. Lila sinks to the floor, her chest heaving with sobs she can't control. Everything she built, Everything she protected, gone in 15 minutes. Marcus arrives 10 minutes later. Stephen called to warn him, but he's too late. He finds Lila on the floor, arms wrapped around herself, rocking slightly. "They took him," she says flatly. "They took him because of you." Marcus kneels in front of her. "I'll fix this." "How? By throwing money at it? By calling in favors? Your world is the reason this happened." "I know." "Then what are you going to do?" Marcus is silent, because for once, he doesn't have an answer. In his world, problems are solved with power, threats, leverage. But this requires something he's not sure he has: legitimacy, proof, legal standing. "I'll figure it out," he says finally. Lila laughs bitterly. "That's not good enough." "Then what is?" She looks at him, her eyes red and fierce. "Choose. Choose Theo over your empire. Choose being a real father over being a crime boss, because you can't be both. Not anymore." The ultimatum hangs between them. Marcus stands, his mind already racing through options. "I'll go to the facility. I'll demand paternity testing. I'll prove he's mine." "And then what? They give him to you? A man with a criminal record? A target on his back?" Lila shakes her head. "They won't. And they shouldn't." "Then what do you want me to do?" Lila's voice drops to a whisper. "I want you to disappear. I want you to let him be just another kid. Safe, anonymous, normal." Marcus stares at her. "You're asking me to give him up." "I'm asking you to love him enough to let him go." The words echo in the empty room. Marcus doesn't answer. He turns and walks out, his expression unreadable. And Lila is alone again, with nothing but the sound of her own heartbreak. Marcus doesn't sleep. He spends the night in his office, surrounded by lawyers and paperwork. Stephen brings coffee he doesn't drink. The hours blur into strategy and legal jargon and mounting frustration. By dawn, he has answers. Some of them. Elena Park was Theo's biological mother. Hospital records confirm it. And the father listed, though never officially verified, is Marcus Young. Paternity testing will prove it conclusively, but that takes time. And Theo doesn't have time. Every hour he spends in that facility is an hour of trauma, of confusion, of believing he's been abandoned. Marcus can't let that continue. At 8 a.m., he walks into the Department of Child and Family Services. No guards, no lawyers, just him. The receptionist looks up, startled. "Sir, do you have an appointment?" "I need to speak to whoever's handling the Theodore Young case." "That would be Mrs. Brennan, but—" "Get her. Now." Something in his voice makes the receptionist move quickly. 15 minutes later, Marcus sits across from Mrs. Brennan in a cramped office that smells like stale coffee and bureaucracy. "Mr. Young, I understand you believe you're the child's biological father." "I am." "We'll need to verify that through paternity testing, which can take—" "I know the timeline. I'm not here to argue science." Marcus leans forward. "I'm here to tell you that taking Theo from Lila Carter is the worst mistake you could make." Mrs. Brennan blinks. "Excuse me?" "You took him from the woman who saved his life, who raised him with nothing but love and determination, who taught him to feel safe." Marcus's voice is controlled but intense. "And you did it because of me, because my presence made him look like a liability." "Mr. Young, we're following protocol. Your protocol is destroying that child." "We're protecting him." "From what? From the woman who's protected him for 2 years?" Marcus pulls out a folder. I've had my team compile everything. Every medical appointment Lila took him to. Every time she went hungry so he could eat. Every sacrifice she made. He slides the documents across the desk. This woman has no legal obligation to him. No blood tie. No financial incentive. She could have called the police the night she found him and walked away. But she didn't. Mrs. Brennan scans the documents, her expression shifting. She kept him, Marcus continues. Loved him, raised him, and now you're punishing her for that. We're not punishing anyone. We're ensuring the child's safety. Then give him back to her. Mr. Young, I'll waive parental rights. The room goes silent. Mrs. Brennan stares. What? Marcus's jaw is tight, but his voice is steady. I'll sign whatever paperwork is necessary. Give Lila full custody. Let me establish paternity so I can provide financial support. But don't separate him from her. Why would you do that? Because I love him. The words are rough, unfamiliar in his mouth. And I'm finally understanding what that means. Mrs. Brennan sets down the documents. Mr. Young, most men in your position would fight for custody. Use every resource available. Most men in my position don't understand what that child actually needs. Marcus meets her gaze. He needs safety, stability, love, and Lila gives him all of that. I can't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I can make sure she has the resources to continue doing what she's been doing. And you're willing to give up legal custody for that? I'm willing to do whatever's right for my son. Mrs. Brennan is quiet for a long moment. Then she picks up her phone. I need to consult with my supervisor. Wait here. Marcus waits. 30 minutes later, Mrs. Brennan returns with an older woman, the department director. Mr. Young, the director says, sitting down. What you're proposing is unusual, but not impossible. No, not impossible. She exchanges a glance with Mrs. Brennan. If you're genuinely willing to forego custody in favor of the current caregiver, and if our investigation confirms Ms. Carter is fit, we could work toward that arrangement. How long? Assuming the home study and background checks confirm what you've told us? 2 weeks, maybe 3? That's too long. It's what we have. Marcus's hands clench into fists, but he nods. Then start the process. Today. We will. The director stands. For what it's worth, Mr. Young, this is the right choice. I know. He goes to the facility next. They won't let him see Theo. He has no legal standing, but he can leave a message with the staff. Tell him his mom is coming. Tell him he's safe. Tell him... Marcus's voice cracks. Tell him his dad loves him. The worker nods sympathetically and takes the note he's written. Marcus leaves the building and sits in his car for a long time, staring at nothing. Stephen appears in the driver's seat. Boss? Take me to Lila's. Are you sure that's... now? Lila hasn't moved from the mattress. She's staring at the empty crib, her face hollow. The knock makes her flinch. She almost doesn't answer. But something, instinct maybe, or desperate hope, makes her open the door. Marcus stands in the hallway, looking as wrecked as she feels. I went to the facility, he says without preamble. I spoke to the director. I'm signing over custody to you. Lila's breath catches. What? Full legal custody. I'll establish paternity for medical and financial purposes, but you'll have final say in everything that matters. School, healthcare, where he lives, all of it. Why would you? Because you were right. Marcus's voice is raw. I can't be the father he needs. Not the way I am now. Not in the world I live in. But you can. You already are. Lila's eyes fill with tears. Marcus. I'm not disappearing, he continues. I'll still be part of his life, if you'll allow it. But on your terms, at your pace, with your approval. He swallows hard. He needs a mother more than he needs a father with blood on his hands. The confession hangs in the air. Lila steps forward, closing the distance between them. You're wrong. Marcus blinks. What? He doesn't need to choose. He needs both of us. Her voice strengthens. But he needs you to become someone worthy of him, not someone who walks away out of guilt, someone who stays and does the work. How? I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out together. She looks at him directly. If you're serious, if you're really willing to change. I am. Then prove it. Not by giving up, by stepping up. Marcus stares at this woman who's challenged him at every turn, who's refused to accept excuses, who's demanded he become more than he thought possible. Okay, he says finally. Tell me how. First, we get him back. Then we build something real, something safe, something he can count on. Together? Together. It's not a declaration of love. It's something more foundational than that. It's partnership, trust. The beginning of something neither of them has a name for yet, but it's real. And right now, that's enough. 3 weeks later, Theo comes home. The paperwork is finalized. Background checks completed. Home study approved. Lila is granted full legal custody, with Marcus listed as biological father with visitation rights and financial responsibilities. It's not perfect, but it's legal, official, safe. Lila picks Theo up on a Tuesday afternoon. The moment he sees her, he runs. His small legs pumping, his face crumpling with relief. She catches him, holding him so tight he squeaks. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. I'm never letting you go again. He buries his face in her neck, his small body shaking with silent sobs. Marcus watches from nearby, his chest aching. He wants to go to them, but he holds back, giving them space. After a long moment, Theo pulls back and looks around. Home? Yes, baby, home. Dada come? Lila glances at Marcus. Their eyes meet. Yeah, she says softly. Dada's coming too. The new apartment is twice the size of the boarding house room. Marcus arranged it. 2 bedrooms, a real kitchen, windows that let in light. But he was careful to keep it modest. Safe, not ostentatious. Lila walks in, Theo in her arms, and stops in the doorway. There's a couch, a table, a bed for her, a proper crib. No, a small bed for Theo, because he's getting too big for cribs. The kitchen is stocked with basics. Rice, pasta, fresh vegetables, nothing fancy, just enough. Marcus, she says quietly, you didn't have to. I did. Let me do this, please. She nods, too overwhelmed to argue. Theo wiggles down, exploring the new space with wide eyes. He goes straight to his new bed, testing the mattress with both hands. Then he looks back at them. Mine? Yours, Lila confirms. He grins, the first real smile she's seen in weeks, and flops onto the bed dramatically. Both adults laugh. The sound is startling after so much tension. That evening, they have dinner together. Simple food: spaghetti with sauce from a jar, garlic bread, a salad. Lila throws together while Marcus sets the table. It's domestic, normal, strange, and wonderful all at once. Theo sits between them in his booster seat, swinging his legs and eating with more enthusiasm than grace. Sauce gets everywhere. No one cares. After dinner, Lila gives Theo a bath. Marcus helps, holding the towel, learning the routine he missed. He's careful, attentive, patient when Theo splashes water everywhere. When Theo is clean and dressed in soft pajamas, new ones that actually fit, Lila tucks him into his new bed. Night-night, baby. Theo's eyes are already drooping. Mama stay? Always. He reaches out with one hand. Dada too? Marcus, standing in the doorway, freezes. Lila looks at him, a question in her eyes. Marcus steps forward, kneeling beside the bed. Yeah, buddy. I'm here too. Theo's small hand pats Marcus's cheek, then Lila's. Then he smiles, satisfied, and closes his eyes. Within minutes, he's asleep. Marcus and Lila stay kneeling there for a long moment, watching him breathe. Thank you, Marcus whispers. For what? For not giving up on me. Lila looks at him, really looks. You made it pretty hard to give up. I'm going to keep trying, to be better, to be worthy of this. I know you will. They stand, leaving Theo's door cracked open so they can hear him if he wakes. In the living room, they sit on opposite ends of the couch. There's so much unsaid between them. What happens now? Lila asks. Marcus is quiet for a moment. I'm stepping back from operations. Steven's taking over the legitimate businesses. The rest, I'm dissolving ties. Can you do that? Just walk away? It'll take time. But yes, I can't be that person and be Theo's father. So I'm choosing this. Lila processes that. What will you do instead? I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. He looks at her. With your help, if you're willing. I'm willing. But Marcus, yeah? Us, it's not automatic. Just because we're raising Theo together doesn't mean... She trails off, unsure how to finish. Marcus nods. I know. You don't owe me anything. Not your time. Not your trust. Definitely not your heart. But... She can hear the unspoken word. But I'm hoping, maybe, someday. He stops, shaking his head. Never mind. That's not fair to ask. Lila studies him. This man who walked into her life as a threat and became... what? A partner? A co-parent? Maybe, eventually, something more. Ask anyway, she says softly. Marcus meets her eyes. I'm hoping that someday you might see me as more than Theo's father. That you might consider letting me be part of your life too, not just his. The confession hangs between them, vulnerable and honest. Lila's heart pounds. I might, someday. Yeah? Yeah, but Marcus, we go slow, really slow. Because this isn't just about us. It's about him. And I won't risk his stability for anything. Neither will I. Okay then? Okay. They sit in comfortable silence, the apartment quiet around them. It's not a fairy tale ending. It's messy and complicated and uncertain. But it's real. And for both of them, That's more valuable than any fantasy. 6 months later, summer brings warmth to the city. Theo turns 5 in July. They celebrate at a small park, just the three of them plus a few kids from his preschool. Marcus watches Theo run around with the other children, his shyness replaced with cautious confidence. He's talking more now, laughing, playing. Lila stands beside Marcus, her hand shading her eyes from the sun. "He's so different from 2 years ago," she says. "You did that. We did that." Marcus glances at her. Over the past 6 months, they've built something solid: trust, friendship, and slowly, carefully, something that feels like the beginning of romance. They have dinner together 3 times a week. Marcus takes Theo to the park on Saturdays. Lila teaches Marcus to cook simple meals. They text throughout the day about mundane things: Theo's preschool artwork, grocery lists, whether to try swimming lessons. It's ordinary, domestic, everything Marcus never thought he'd have. And last week, after Theo was asleep, Marcus kissed Lila for the first time. It was gentle, brief, a question more than a statement. She kissed him back and whispered, "Slowly, remember?" He remembers. Now, watching Theo play, Marcus reaches for Lila's hand. She lets him take it. "I love you," he says quietly. "I need you to know that." Lila's breath catches. They haven't said it yet, not explicitly. "I know," she says finally. "And I'm getting there. I think I'm almost there." "Take your time." "Thank you." Theo runs over, grass-stained and grinning. "Cake now?" "Cake now," Lila confirms, laughing. They walk to the picnic table where Marcus set up everything earlier. Theo bounces in his seat, excited. When they light the candles and sing, Theo's face glows with pure joy. "Make a wish, baby," Lila says. Theo closes his eyes tight, thinking hard. Then he blows out all 5 candles in one breath. "What did you wish for?" Marcus asks. Theo grins, a secret in his eyes. "Can't tell. Won't come true." But he wraps one arm around Lila and one around Marcus, pulling them close. And they both understand. His wish already came true. If this story moved you, if you felt something shift as Lila, Marcus, and Theo built their family, we hope you'll stay with us. There are more stories like this, more journeys from brokenness to belonging, more inspirational reminders that love, when chosen with courage and sustained with commitment, can transform everything. Tell us in the comments, what moment in this story resonated most with you? When did you feel hope stirring? And if you're ready for more nights like this, more romance, more healing, more motivational tales that restore faith in human goodness, subscribe. Be part of this community. Thank you for listening, for caring, for believing that stories matter. You matter, and we're grateful you're here.